Brainstorming and sharing ideas is the funnest part of the creative process. We decided to skip the boring part of actually making stuff and just do the fun part. I'm your host, Tom Walma,
I'm Jay Eoff.
And I'm Nicole Melnick.
and this is Creativity Wasted. I've had this idea for quite a while. I call it identity class. And what it would be, like, I always hated when I was in like high school, there would be like career planning things here and there, maybe like a bubble multiple choice quiz here and there, and they would say if you follow like this path, this is how you're going to end up. You're going to end up poor. You're not going to end up poor. You're going to end up in jail, whatever. It's like all of that as a kid, all of that reeks of bullshittery because it's just them saying, teachers saying what they're supposed to say. Like, it doesn't hit you emotionally because it's filtered through a teacher who just wants to lie and say like the thing they're supposed to say. So what I think would be cool, especially now that AI exists, I think there should be this, I call it identity class. Basically, what you'd do is you'd have like a few schools. I think kids would love to do this. And you'd have cameras watch them for a few weeks, maybe like in class, in the lunchroom, in sports, and they would have like a confessional booth, like maybe like a Real World, one of those old MTV shows. So you get the vibe of who this kid is, like everybody, like in the like 2 or 3 classes, like 100 kids, maybe every single one of them, and you could just follow them for years. Follow them with like 10 years out of college. Like, did they go to college? Did they go to jail? Did they get married? What happened? Like, what's their background? What did their parents say about them? What did their teachers say about them? What did their bosses say about them? And so what you do, you'd have all this data that you could just like click around on a computer, and AI could help you like follow, just free floating, like what's interesting to you. Like, does this kid, like, what music does he listen to? Like, you could even maybe follow like part of the time you could just follow like, is this kid cool? Is he funny? Like, do I identify with this person? Like, follow the gossip of the school, like, to keep kids interested. And then the teachers would make them some of the time follow like write reports on like important stuff, like career rises and like
who's sleeping with who?
The gossip would be to keep the kids interested, but the teachers would make them follow, at least most of the time, like important things, like why do you think this kid ended up in jail, or how does your situation relate to this guy's situation, and how could you avoid the path that he went down. So the teachers would like make you study it, but you'd still be like clicking around randomly. It wouldn't be like a static video that you're watching or a speech that you're listening to. You're sort of free floating through all these video clips guided by AI, and you can choose like which people you find interesting to follow. And
I think you just invented TikTok. I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, so obviously this is insane.
Yeah.
But the idea is, like,
to what end?
I think you invented like a real god.
Yeah. The AI is going to tell you what you like.
The idea is like, if you're like a C&D student, you don't know what career you want, you don't know if you're going to go to college, like you can find a kid who's kind of in your same situation and see like what happened to him. Like, so you could like compare that to you and like have a better idea of how you should plan your life, and like lots of different people. So it would be like a
Scared Straight program.
It would help you. So the identity class, it would help you understand how others perceive you, what your likely future would be if you go down the same path you're on. Instead of like a Scared Straight speech or like teachers promoting everybody goes to college and like bullshittery. Like, okay, this kid wanted to do this. Like, this kid said, "Oh, I'm not going to study hard until I go to college," and then he gets to college and he's already too far behind. So maybe I shouldn't do that. Or maybe this kid got hooked on video games and he couldn't get out of it. He failed out freshman year. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Like, it would be a way to cut through the bullshit of like high school career days and like platitude, like to get more of a realistic idea of how the world works and how what you do in high school affects your future. That's what it would be. But it would just be based on just recording a sort of diverse group of people in a few schools and just like having AI that can like skip around to like different.
I feel like the government's immediately going to use this for evil. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
immediately.
Like we'll be able to put the police on even more people
Yeah, they'll be
specifically.
like, see, you followed the path that the kid who eventually became a criminal is on. And so it's like, now we got to keep an eye on you.
Well, maybe you clicked around and saw the path. That doesn't mean you're going to do it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the.
And they
I'm
can
gonna
filter out like if a guy becomes like a super successful millionaire criminal, like you
Yeah.
don't want him to be a role model. He's not on there. He's just deleted.
Okay, but
So
that's censorship, dude. I was reading about how Elon Musk artificially boosts his own tweets because he didn't like that Joe Biden's tweet got more reposts than he did. And then the engineers were like, yeah, basically now everybody has to see Elon Musk's tweets on Twitter. They're like, that's pretty funny. That's a pretty
Right.
sad man thing to do.
yeah, I guess I mean AI can manipulate things and like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is I would love to see this do good, but I am only imagining the evil applications. But yeah, no, I do feel you. I think I'm cutting through all the bullshit of education and further education is a good thing.
like when I was in high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do for a career. I didn't know
Mhm.
where I wanted to go to college. I didn't know if I could like just click around and see like the other thing is like, well, do people like this job? I
Yeah.
have to pick a career. Do people like it? Are they overworked? Are they stressed out at work in this particular career? If I get this degree, will it get me a job in that field? That's another thing. It's like teachers don't know the right answers, but if you had all this data that you could just click around, follow this guy, what did he do? Uh,
Yeah.
and then how did that turn out? What did this guy do? How did this turn out? Like maybe even in a few different regions of the country, like you could just click around and see like 40, 50 examples of people and like maybe
Mhm.
like I think it would give you a better idea of how to plan your future instead of relying on these incompetent, lying teachers and programs, government programs, colleges that they'll give you a degree even though they know it's useless. Like they don't give a shit. Instead of relying on incomplete, faulty, misleading people that want to just get your money, like you could get here. My power's on now. You could just get
What the fuck? What?
yeah. So I think
Did
this
you
would be
not have power this whole time, Tom?
yeah.
He was running on a
I'm running
solar
on a
battery.
solar battery. I told Jay, I guess, before you got on.
What? Dude, what a man. I love this idea because it's like crowdsourcing your further education. That makes sense, but from an informational perspective. But I think that you can't put teachers and universities in the same boat on account of teachers are woefully underpaid as well. The reason why teachers can't effectively teach you is because they don't have the resources, because the government makes sure that teachers don't get paid that much. And then it's not until university level where it actually is just capitalism churning out people who are willing to pay the fee.
I think it'd be good if the government told me when and how I was gonna die.
Ooh, yeah. Me too, but I already know. Is that
I know exactly how it's gonna happen.
I'm just here to fact check.
How are you gonna die?
I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna get hit by a bus, dude. I had a vision when I was like 13. I saw a dude almost get hit by a bus. It wasn't a dude, it was a lady, and she was like kind of heavy set, but it was a little guy, and he like pulls her arm into the sidewalk, and the bus is like,
Oh,
"Ah," and it flew by, and I was like, that's what's gonna happen to me, except for there's not gonna be a little dude. pulling me into the street. I had such a moment in that moment where I go, I'm gonna be back here.
I had the same thing. Uh,
2 bus victims.
I was the woman.
It's so funny.
No. I was driving. I was in the front seat of a car with some other people. I don't know who they were. But we like veered off the overpass, the bridge, and like just and just into the ground and exploded, and I died. And
Oh,
I
that's
went
crazy.
all the way up.
Whoa!
Yeah. And so that's how I'm gonna die too. That's how it's gonna happen.
A couple people on a pod that know how they're gonna die. Tom, how are you gonna die?
Probably a heart attack. Oh, I know how I'm gonna die because I do the Omni treadmill thing where I play the video games. I stream the video games on the fitness machines. I'm just gonna die and I'll
Oh,
just be hanging there
oh my
on the stream for
God.
like 5 hours before anybody notices.
The game's flashing. Game over. Game over.
Ooh,
And you're just floating there.
Yeah,
how apt.
That's creepy.
that would be the most interesting way for me to die.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
And
That'd
that's what
probably be-
the government would tell us all happened too. That's my idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I missed anything. It could also have to do with like health habits too. You could see like kids that eat nothing but junk food in the cafeteria. Do they get fat? Maybe
Whoa. Why is there junk food in the cafeteria? Because schools are underfunded.
We're post-Obama. Schools have healthy stuff now.
I used to
They have
eat in
carrots.
middle school. I'd get $2 from my mom per day for lunch. I'd get 2 chocolate milks that are a quarter each, and then 4 things of cookies that were a quarter each. Wait. And then maybe a candy bar or something.
Wait,
That
Tom,
was
if
my
you're
lunch.
inventing a time machine to go back and fix your childhood, is that what you're actually trying to tell us, dudes? You go, I was lost and I was
Exactly.
confused and my lunch didn't have good lunches.
I wish my school told me to invest in Apple when I was younger.
Yeah, dude. It's AI that finds the kid before the bad things happen, and then he's fine.
But yeah, I think it would be cool to be able to just see examples of people and how they turn out and like relate that back to you is the main
Oh, yeah.
idea.
I love that.
Well, any shows or podcasts or social medias that you want to plug?
I'm doing some more tour dates with Kristen Key in Nashville and Atlanta, Georgia at the end of November. And then I think this won't be out in time, but I'm opening for Sam J this weekend.
Oh, I heard about
Which
that.
House of Comedy. Yeah,
That's
pretty
cool.
stoked.
I'll leave it in, but yeah, it won't be out until Tuesday.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys hear this, hey, how did the show go? Did you like it? Oh, I'm featuring for Esteban Tuma in Saga Talk.
I'm doing next week Friday, Mitchell's Pub. That
Mitchell's, that's what it's called. Yeah, that'll be fun.
October 11th.
This has been a production of Planet Amp Podcast, powered by Pinecast.